Welcome to Peter and Roughie's Football Show, your daily fix of football chat on STV. Delighted to have your company, and the main headlines on tonight's programme. St Mirren are looking for a new manager with a couple of ex-Rangers players in the running. We'll look back over the weekend's results in all four divisions of Scottish football, and we'll assess the Champions League and the Europa League draw that involves British clubs. Alan Rough and our Bitroom guest Gordon Smith here with me, Peter Martin, to discuss the weekend's football and the stories emerging today. St Mirren are looking for a new manager. Ian Murray resigned, which I find unusual, and over and above that, Alec Miller's in as a caretaker, Roughy, until they find a new man.
Yeah, I think the powers that be have got a wee bit of a problem, because they've tried every avenue. They've tried a manager with experience with Tommy Craig. They've tried an unproven manager in Gary Teal, and they've tried an up-and-coming manager in Ian Murray. So I don't know what route they'll go down now. I mean, obviously everybody's jumping to the St Mirren connection or the Rangers connection. You never mentioned one there. I thought Kenny McDowell, you know, who's got that connection, who's got a good coaching pedigree. But it'll be interesting again if it's got the same 50 candidates that apply for every other job.
I'm almost certain there will be more than a few people interested in the job. Alec Ray and Barry Ferguson, two ex-Rangers players who've been touted as front runners for it.
Yeah, well, Barry's obviously got a job at the moment with Clyde, and he's taking Clyde forward. I don't know whether he'd want to leave there at this stage, certainly with a team that's up challenging at the top of the league, going to one that's challenging at the bottom. But Alec Ray certainly would be a prospect. I think that he's worked well at McLeish of late, and with Alec being out of a job, you were expecting that Alec would go back into football as soon as Alec McLeish got a job. But if the St Mirren job, you know, if they someone offer him it, I think Alec Ray could be very interested. I think he would be a good candidate.
Yeah, if anything, Ruffy, when you look at the managers that have failed, and you've highlighted more than a few of them there, it doesn't fill you with great confidence when you know that it's a board that's hiring that wants to leave the club as well.
Yes, that's another problem. You know, I mean, I don't know the up-to-date and what the position is just now. It seemed to be a wee bit quiet in that front, you know, but you're right. They have to get somebody in, because obviously if they keep dropping the way they are, obviously the price of the club will drop as well, you know, if they're trying to sell it on. So it's really important to keep them in there, you know, for a new owner coming in. You'd want to be in that division if you were buying it rather than the lower division. Yeah,
okay, we will keep you up to date with developments there. One sacking that surprised me at the weekend was Dick Campbell, Ruffy. He was the longest serving manager in Scottish football. Do you think they've pulled the trigger too early on a man who was a good servant to Forfar?
Not only a good servant, but a track record of taking clubs like Falkirk up through the divisions. So I think he possibly could have the best record of promotion, and it just hasn't happened for him this year. But again, like every other club, powers that be panic, and when they see that they might be slipping down a division, and it's an unfortunate one for Dick. But I think Dick's done enough in the game for another club like that, if a manager's job was to come available, that he would get it.
Yeah, he's an infectious character and a man with a tremendous knowledge of the game.
Oh yeah, I mean, he's been for years. I mean, I remember I did my A licence along with Dick years ago, for late 80s it was, and even then you could see, I didn't know him before I went on the course sort of thing, but he worked his way up through it, and he's been very successful in the game since that time. I mean, he's well in. He became one of the coaches who were you know, teaching other people, so that was the respect that he had at that time. So I think that, like Ruffy says, he's probably got a chance to get another job. But people do react at times. They maybe just feel, you know, they were maybe thinking, well, you know, sometimes you can have a manager too long at a club. Some of them think that way, and all of a sudden, when the record's poor and they're not getting the results, there's this feeling, especially when the directors start to maybe get a bit of stick from the supporters as well. They think a change is required, and they are on a bad run just now, no question of it. And you know, they're third bottom of their division, so I think that's probably why they've just felt it's time for a change. But they must have somebody else in mind, you would think. Yeah.
Okay. There's a club that made a change not that long ago, but there's been no change in the results, and the suggestion that they are in big trouble, and that is of course Dundee United. Ruffy, a loss at the weekend again. Is it getting to the point now where it's critical because Pongol has picked up an injury, a hamstring injury for Dundee United. He, along with Guy Demel, two signings that were hoping to make a difference.
Yeah, it doesn't matter who you are, whether you're Dundee United, Kilmarnock, Motherwell. We saw it with Motherwell last year when you're down there and you're adrift, and every game's a pressure game. You know, you need the players in there that can react to it. We saw how it happened to Motherwell, and it looks as if the same is going to happen to Dundee United. They don't look as if they've got enough goal scorers to get them out of it. I think you need somebody who's going to win games for you. Obviously they've got Billy Mackay, but when he's not scoring, they're not winning.
Yeah, I think it's going to be critical, the January transfer window. It'll be interesting to see what their policy has gotten.
Yeah, just to see what, if they spend any money, bring MD in. I think there'll be a little bit of a panic about it. I think they will decide to spend some money this time and get players in. I don't think they'll be selling MD this time, unlike previous years. But I do think that, you know, we did say it before, Peter, crucial games coming up. I mean, the last two games have almost been like 6-pointers. They went down to Rugby Park, and although they got one each, and Kelly had 10 men, they couldn't win that game. That was points lost because Kilmarnock are now the nearest team to them. I think Kilmarnock are 8 points ahead of Dundee United now, and if they'd won that day, that would have closed that gap, but they didn't. And then on Saturday again, one of the other teams down the bottom. In their next two games, they've got Inverness away, and then they've got Motherwell at home. So these will be tough games for them, because they say they're the teams just above them, and if they don't win those games, or in fact if they lose them, that gap opens up so much it's going to be difficult for them to win the games. Because when you look at it already, they have to win. You're talking about them having to win 3 matches while the opposition are losing their games. That's going to become tougher and tougher as the season goes on. So Dundee United, they need to start getting back in the frame soon, and possibly the January window could be the time when they refresh it by bringing in new players.
Yeah, I can't pick between them now, because no sooner do you suggest it's Partick Thistle, they get a wee run together. Kilmarnock were on a good run, and then they've slipped back as well, Roughie.
Yeah, I think for me, Kilmarnock, the way they're losing goals, you know, everybody will lose goals, but the defence don't seem to be solid enough week on week, and it's the defence that's losing in the games. We all know that they can score goals. They've got obviously Chris Boyd in there, McGuinness in there, but for me it's defensively, and they've had far too many hammerings throughout the season.
If you think about it, Peter, just above Dundee United, you've got 5 teams separated by 3 points and 6 teams separated by 5 points. There's nothing in it at all. All these teams are fighting to try and avoid that second bottom spot, so that's why Dundee United need to get it going. But you can't predict at all who's going to get out of that and who's going to get free, because they've all got hard games coming up against each other as well, and against teams higher up the league. But it's a very, very compact league.
Yep, at the top end of the table, we were looking forward to Aberdeen against Hearts at the weekend. It didn't quite materialise into the spectacle I was hoping it was going to be, Roughie. In the end, I'm still on Monday night wondering what Jordan McGee was doing with the handball that gifted Aberdeen the win. Although fair play to Robbie Neilson, he is a young man, he's made a mistake. Let's move on, you know, cut him some slack.
Yeah, I'm sure when Jordan McGee went to bed at night, he never slept either, and still wondering what he'd done. You would have to ask him. You know, it looked like he panicked a wee bit, with no need to panic at all. But for me, Hearts look as if they now, when they go away from home against one of the bigger sides, they have a set formation where they try and frustrate and sit in, and then try and take something in the second half. And unfortunately, it never worked for them on Saturday.
Yeah, are Aberdeen back?
I think so. I think Aberdeen have recovered now. Yeah, I think so. McGinn wasn't available for them at the weekend. When he comes back in, they become stronger. But Pollitt's a good player. They've got Hayes in good form, and all round, I think that, you know, that they're beginning to win games again, and I think they'll be up there challenging. I think for second spot though. I don't think they're going to win the league, but I think they will be second. Yeah,
St Johnstone, I thought it might have been tricky. In the end, it looked comfortable for Celtic.
Yeah, I think the manager summed it up. Celtic were clinical where they weren't. You know, they had chances. Craig Gordon had a couple of saves. You know, I think when you play Celtic, you've got to get your noses in front. You've got to get that first goal. You've got to see how they react to it. But as I say, Craig Gordon had a couple of good saves, and then Celtic got the goals at the right time.
It's a good point, because St Johnstone did have chances. That's one thing most teams do get against Celtic. As Roughie said, clinical, put the ball away, you take your chances. But I thought overall, looking at the two teams, Celtic were far the better team. team. I thought in terms of possession, the football they played, I thought for one spell, I mean there was one little spell they showed, I think they're about 80 odd percent possession, and I thought they did it really well. So I thought Celtic looked a lot better yesterday.
Yeah, does Sifsey maybe twist the manager's mind on whether he needs to add a striker, Roughie?
No, but it's a good one to have. You know, if you've got obviously Lee Griffiths there, obviously Sifsey was going through a wee barren spell, and people begin to doubt, oh, is this another striker we've got that's not going to happen? But so for him, good for him scoring the 2 goals. It'll give him confidence, and that means that the supporters might get behind him.
Okay, from the Premiership we'll look towards the Championship, and it was a bit harum-scarum for Hibbies at the weekend. It looked as if Rangers slipping up at Ibrox were still going to gain a point on Alan Stubbs' side. We'll look at the Championship, League 1 and League 2, and we'll also assess the European 2016 draw and Champions League and Europa League. Welcome back to Peter and Roughie's Football Show. Alan Rough and Gordon Smith are with me, Peter Martin, on the programme tonight. We're looking at the Championship now because it is neck and neck, and on Saturday it looked as if Rangers, even though they slipped up, Gordon Smith, were going to actually gain a point on Hibernian until, of course, Martin Boyle intervened.
Yes, it looked like they would be because, I mean, not the best performance, I understand, from Rangers' point of view, but Hibs, they'll be more delighted with their point because they were down to 10 men and they had to survive. I know they're going to appeal. It's a hard one I saw it myself and I wasn't quite sure with the footage whether it looks like a bad tackle or not, whether he has just left his foot a little bit higher, so I couldn't really tell from it. But I think Hibs are going to appeal it because they will miss him again. He's been in great form for them. But Rangers, as I say, with 11 players having such an early lead, most of us took it for granted because we remember earlier in the season when Rangers beat Morton 4-0 at Capello, you're thinking, well, they should win comfortably at home. They score early on, you're thinking that's it, they're on their way to that, and it didn't happen that way, and quite fortunate in the end up Vaghorn got the goal to get them the point in the end, so they haven't changed any ground. They're still they're 3 points in front, but having said that, it could have been also different.
Yep, and of course the next round of games before we get to Rangers against Hibs could be oh so crucial, Roughie. I can understand why Hibs are appealing because McGinn would be a huge loss to them.
Yeah, he certainly would. He was the player of the month. He was being a main man in there, and yeah, I mean, it's worth the appeal. It's would turn it round because he is going to be crucial. And when you get a player like that, you know, even in the dressing room, even on the park, you know, he can lift everybody else round about him.
Yeah. Did you ever have a set 2 in the dressing room? God, there's no point in asking Roughie because he's a big softie and he'd run into the toilets. But from your own point of view, because the Rangers players apparently had a little set 2 after the game, not happy with their performance.
Well, yeah, I've had arguments, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I've had some strong arguments at teams I was at, and among ourselves and with the manager as well, because you know everybody's got opinions. I mean, sometimes you know you're in different departments, and you tend to. What happens at times is if you don't win, the defenders tend to have a go at the forwards, and vice versa. If we've lost 4-3 when we've scored 3 goals, we complain about the fact they've given away 4 goals. So that's the way it does work, you know. And the managers sometimes stay out of it in order just to let you have that, because they sometimes feel that it's good for team spirit. It shows a determination, and it shows you that the players do care about how it goes. So yeah, I've been involved in 1 or 2.
Yeah, fisticuffs.
No fisticuffs.
No? Okay then. I was just looking for a wee bit of gossip and an old story that maybe, you know, a good punch-up.
We were just hitting each other with handbags.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you could see that when you were lip reading the Dundee United players. I think, I don't know if it was Gavin Gunning just saying, just do your job.
The 2 of them were having a fight. I saw that on the park. It was getting close. That was getting very close. I've seen it getting that close with players in the dressing room. You say fisticuffs. It might have been if they hadn't been held back. Yeah, it was 1 or 2 players were getting held back from each other, so that does take away from the fact that it could have been a fight, and it was maybe leading to that.
Are we doing a disservice to Falkirk that we constantly seem to be talking about neck and neck Rangers and Hibs here, Roughie?
I think we're doing a disservice to Morton. You know, we haven't mentioned Morton at all in the credible run that they're on, and to go to Ibrox when Rangers are doing particularly well, and to be 2-1 up so late on in the game, Jim Duffy deserves a lot of credit, and his players are now believing if they can keep that run going. I know there's a wee bit of a gap just now, but if they were to win important games, who's to say they couldn't get that fourth place, which would be magnificent.
I know what you mean.
Are we doing a disservice to Falkirk by just moving quickly on to Morton?
No, I was one. In case we never get a chance to speak about Morton, by talking about Falkirk, but yeah, Falkirk have done well as well. But for me, the team just now is Morton.
Yeah, I think the way I look at it is that Morton are in good form, but you know they're still very tight with Queen of the South and Wraith. So I see it as three different levels at that top part, Roughie. I do see the Championship as Rangers and Hibs, and I do think Falkirk are comfortably. I don't think they're going to challenge either Rangers or Hibs for second spot, but I do think they're comfortably going to be in the top four, third, and then the battle's on with others. And as you say, of the teams in that spot, Morton are probably the form team and looking for that fourth spot, and it would be a great season after getting promotion. It'd be tremendous, and they do play some good football. I mean, they scored nice goals against Rangers as well. So you look at it and you think, you know, Morton could definitely fight for that fourth spot.
Yeah, just briefly, Roughie, did Dunfermline's win at the weekend? Does that really cement everyone's belief that they'll go on to win it with their second?
No, I don't think so.
No?
I mean, that game could have went either way, and you know, Ayr with the run that they were on will still believe that they're good enough. And again, it depends on which of the two of them can hold their nerve towards the end of the year.
Okay, let's look at the Champions League draw. No Scottish sides in it, much to our annoyance, but it's nice to see Arsenal getting a run to the knockout stages before they eventually bow out now, because they've got Barcelona.
Did you say that on Saturday, Peter? You think the English clubs would be last 8 max at best?
Absolutely, at the start of the season. I don't think they're good enough.
No, I probably agree with that. I think of all the games, the one that I look forward to, and there's been some good games between them. There was 2 or 3 seasons ago, there was a great one. Arsenal and Barca had a terrific contest with each other. So, and they played in a final, didn't they? I think they did
2006.
The 2006 final, yes. Yeah. So I think of all the English teams at the moment, I think that of Chelsea, Man City and Arsenal are more the form team than the other two. Even though Man City are up near the top of the league, they've not been that impressive, I don't think so. Yeah. I think that'll be a good game.
Of the 3, I think maybe, am I pushing it to say that the best chance of getting through could be Manchester City?
Yeah, possibly Man City.
They get Dynamo Kiev.
I don't know. I mean, the two of you laughed at me the last time. I don't think one of the big powers are going to win it this year. I think somebody just underneath is going to come through.
Hold on a minute. You've got Bayern Munich.
Yeah, no. But I'm liking PSG. I watched the Real Madrid. They don't look anything great.
Yeah.
You know, saw Barcelona. Not on a great run, but beatable.
Yeah.
And
PSG are not going to win it, Roughie.
Well, I think they've just been hovering in the last 2 or 3 years. They've been, I think, the last 8. And I just got a feeling this year. I don't think the big power teams are the way they were. Okay,
we're now heading towards the festive period. I'm giving you the right to change your mind. Are you going for PSG?
Yeah, yep.
What?
I'm going to go for them. Yeah.
Oh, write that down. That's a complete act of lunacy, Gordon Smith from Roughie.
That's a brave prediction.
It's a brave one. You use brave, I use stupid. Okay, you're switching from Bayern Munich to PSG.
Yep.
Oh, that's fantastic news.
I would say Bayern or Barca, but I've tipped Barca, but I think it will be either of those two.
Yeah, I'm going to move to Bayern Munich now that it's vacant.
Yeah,
because I can't believe Roughie's left it wide open.
What did you have before? Were you Real?
Chelsea.
Oh, you were Chelsea.
That's a good jump. That's a good jump.
It's a good jump.
A magnificent jump.
Very good jump.
Yeah, because Jose's not filling me with confidence this year. And of course, let's talk about the other tournament, which nobody. I'm not going to dismiss it as nobody really cares about it, but it needs something. It needs revamped, and I say it season in, season out. I don't think anybody really is looking at the Europa League and thinking, it's a tournament that they really want to be in. Manchester United have got Midtjylland, and you've got Fiorentina, Spurs, and Augsburg, Liverpool.
Yeah, but I still think Man United and Liverpool, particularly Liverpool, with the new manager, will see winning that cup to be the start of getting back in there again. You know, that's the only thing that makes that cup a wee bit exciting with teams like that in it.
Okay, that's a nice positive spin on it. Let's be realistic about it, Gordon.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, Manchester United, the Champions League, the biggest problem for Louis van Gaal is trying to keep everybody interested in the Premier League.
Yeah, well, it was quite funny because he did come out with a statement talking about the Europa League as if this was the thing to go for, when in reality, even English clubs aren't bothered with it.
Top four, that's what they look for.
They're not, yeah. They'd rather be top four than win. No, there is very little interest in the Thursday Cup, as some people call it.
Yes.
And I do think that from that point of view, I think that it will get publicity if the English teams do well in it, because then we'll see a bit more about it. But see if the English teams are out of it, even the newspapers not hardly cover it.
Absolutely, I think it might get just beyond the cricket in the 8th back page. Let's look at the Euro 2016 draw. Just briefly, Roughie, on that one, will anybody be thinking it's just not the draw we wanted? I'm looking at Group B and thinking Wales, England, Russia, Slovakia.
Yeah, I think they've got something to offer. You know, I like the Germany one with Ukraine and Poland and Northern Ireland. I think that could be quite an entertaining one. But like you're saying, you know, the Champions League, the Europa Cup's not the Champions League. I find that isn't the World Cup either. You know, I don't.
You don't like the European Championships?
I don't like it. We're not there, obviously, but I don't think it has the same oomph as, you know, watching Brazil or Argentina or whatever.
You would say that would be the only two teams that we'd invite in if it was from a European Championships to a World Cup. Who else? What other countries would we really want to have in there other than Brazil and Argentina?
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Gordon. I like it. I like any tournament we can get to. It's as simple as that. And I'll leave you with the thoughts. I can't believe Roughie let Bayern Munich go for PSG. Would you do that at Christmas? Good night.